Hey, glad you could make it. Welcome to Fantasy Dad Pods, where dad bods are glorified and dad jokes are encouraged. I'm JT, accompanied by Sean. Sean, how we doing?
Doing good. We've been off for a couple weeks. We had family vacations, things like that coming back. So I got to say, like a lot of dad activities had to get done. Changing light bulbs, finishing up a shoe rack, caulking a bathroom, and I got to say, like just going on vacation for like 4 days, um, and coming back and just realizing that like owning a house, having a house and um, it's so much to do. So I will say shout out to single parents out there. I don't know how we function as two people doing it, but like man, it was a lot of work coming back. I felt like I was at work when I wasn't at work, so it was a lot. But no, it's like I said, a lot of dad activities recently. Nothing living a dream like on a Saturday night, caulking a bathroom till 9:30 at night or 9:40 at night. So going good, but that's been like that days straight. 2 days of laundry, come back from vacation. Um, yeah, it's just a lot. You get back from vacation with kids. I tell people at work, you need an adult vacation after a vacation with kids. We went to the Oregon coast, which is about 6 hours from where we live, and my youngest cried for about 5 of the 6 hour drive. So yeah, straight in a car. So that was, it's a lot. You need an adult vacation after a kid vacation, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So, but it was a good time. The actual trip was fine. The way back was less, but the trip was good. Yeah. Nothing too crazy to report at the house other than that. How are you doing, JT?
Good. Just been a lot of little league baseball. T-ball season just wrapped up. Double A season just wrapped up. We got playoffs this next week. Ended up third place on the season. Pretty solid. I was talking to my assistant coach saying, like, I give ourselves a B minus on the year. Feel like when we show up, when we're focused and we want to, play some baseball, we play well. And some other times it's like, I don't know. I just kind of want to hang out and in the dugout and, just this different type of vibe. So ultimately, it's been pretty good with baseball, but we went and saw the Richmond Bombers take the state championship at Geesa Stadium, so that was pretty cool.
I saw that on Facebook. Yep. I saw that on Facebook. Yeah. Okay. They went undefeated. No, like I feel like people would talk about that. I have a couple people that I follow. They're like, "Oh, they won state championship." I'm like, they went undefeated during a season. That's the crazy part. Like they won the state title, but like they didn't lose a game during the regular season or any tournament. So that's crazy. I feel like the craziest part. That needs to be talking. Undefeated states.
Yeah, and then like a couple days later, scrolling through Facebook, one of the reels was like some guy did like a reel about it, and he highlighted the game and like some of the top like college prospects and stuff like that. Richland's guy who came in relief, the coaches said, I don't have a 1-2 punch. I've got a 1-1 punch, which I thought was really cool. So he's a sophomore. He's easily touching 90. He's long and lanky. It looked fluid. It was cool to see up close. Puyallup team has like the best freshman hitter in the state. It's just loaded with lots of talent. And you know what it came down to? It came down to the final inning, and it was 4-2. And it was like a hit, a strikeout, a walk, a hit by pitch, maybe another hit by pitch in there. So it scored a run, and it was 4-3. And then bases are loaded, and maybe another strikeout in there. But then there's 2 outs, bases loaded, top of the 7th. Away team is down by 1. They brought in the second baseman to pitch. They brought in they took the catcher and put him at second base, and they brought in the backup catcher. And it was a ridiculous scenario. You just need 1 out, bring in the backup catcher. First pitch is like this curveball in the dirt. A pass ball would tie the game. I was nervous. I couldn't imagine, like parents or coaches or player. I mean, but then, hey, it was a great hit, line drive straight to the left fielder, and that was the game. And it was entertaining. It was a lot of small ball. Is the biggest thing I noticed. A lot of bunting, a lot of moving players on the bases. So, but yeah, it was cool, and my 8-year-old was off playing catch off to the side most of it. So I took him there for the experience, and he's like, I would rather play than watch. And I'm like, I kind of get it, but this is kind of a big deal. So,
I mean, I feel like that's not just anything. Like, that's how I really got into like, what was it? Anytime it was a new sport or something like that, you had to get like play Madden. When it was football season, you're like, I don't want to watch that. I want to do that. Or like me and my brother when we were younger, you're watching the Power Rangers, and then you got to fight because you got to be the Power Rangers. You've got to be the thing. So, I get the little boy thinking of like, I don't want to watch this, but I could just do it. Like that's universal. So I get it. But at least he was there and watching in spirit. So that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Undefeated season. So that's insane. I don't know. I see tweets and I'm like, oh, like they won the state title. I'm like, good. I'm like, 27-0. What? They didn't lose all year? Like that's okay. Okay, cool. Couldn't imagine that. Couldn't imagine playing a full baseball season at any level and not losing a game. So that's crazy. Hopefully there were no big injuries at the state tournament because there were some big injuries in Major League Baseball. Ronald Acuna Jr. tore his other ACL. I honestly, like, I guess we get like there hasn't been a ton of other injuries other than that one, like major ones. But let's just say this: this affects dynasty, tearing both ACLs. I mean, obviously not at the same time, but like just in your career, it is really hard to come back from both of that. We've already seen him not be as good tearing one. Tearing the other one, just from a medical perspective, it's just subconsciously everything like that. You tend to favor the other one when you have an injury for another one, even though you're fully cleared, fully healthy. It's man, and in the history of athletes after tearing both, it's not like he's going to become Sean Figgins. Sorry, Figgins, you took a shot there, but it is going to affect, I think, the future of his like talent in fantasy baseball. I think this has not just this year, obviously, impact, but I think it has fantasy impacts of who he will be in the next, fantasy drafts, dynasty drafts, all that stuff. And so that's what really sucks. People are like, oh, this year. I'm like, this year sucks, but like who he is as a career of a player is now dramatically different. I mean, maybe dramatically is the wrong word, but it does shift it. Like, I think the days of him stealing close to 7 bases are gone. Like, it's just gone. And it's just like, it's going to be hard for him to like, it's a power source. You hit home runs off that. Like, it is just lower body injuries, sap power. Like, I don't know if we're ever going to get like monster Ronald Acuna ever again. And that sucks. That sucks. So that horrible day for baseball.
Yeah. It has more ramifications if you really try to like think about it even further. I mean, you make a really good point, and then I started going down a rabbit hole. I'm like, okay, if the speed isn't there as much, we're talking a 4 category contributor, still really, really good. But is he still to bat leadoff? Or maybe he bats second, third. That maybe changes somewhat. I mean, nothing crazy. Obviously, we're saying steals might be drying up, but defensively, is he still going to play right field? He's got a great arm, but I don't know if that would change. But yeah, it's just like if Jordan Alvarez's knees are in the 40s or Acuna's now in the late 30s, I mean, it's only putting about 15 years on him. But
yeah, but that's the thing. He just becomes, I think, because he's not the OBP machine that a Trout and a Jordan is. So he instantly, I think, might become just worse than them because he's not going to have the speed. Now, he might have a little bit more speed than Jordan. He might steal like 10 or so bases. But again, like, it's something like that. Watch, he's going to come out and do like 80 the next year. But like, I'm a feeling that like a team and him are not going to want to do that. And if he steals like 10 bases, he doesn't have the OBP other than like he's not going to have like a 1,200 or 11 or, something crazy like a Jordan because he's not going to hit as many home runs. So now he's just kind of slowly, quickly becoming a worse version of Jordan at a younger age. And I'm like, that's where it affects like his dynasty. I'm like, where people are drafting. And like you said, if he has to go to first base, like he loses outfield position, has to go to first base where there's a lot of first basemen. Now he doesn't hit as many home runs as like a Pete Alonso. He's not stealing as many bases that separate him as much. Like it's just his position and like that type of injury is devastating back-to-back years. He wasn't even really trying to steal, which was like the worst part. It was just he made a cut, and it's terrible. And I did think about this. I was walking the dog today, and the last time the Braves won the World Series, Ronald Acuna tore his ACL, and they lost their best starting pitcher for the year, Tommy John. It was Mike Soroka at the time, who has never been the same since. This year, they lost their best starting pitcher, Tommy John. Ronald Acuna tears his ACL. I'm not saying that if they win it, there's a conspiracy theory, but if they win it, there's a conspiracy theory. Okay, so there, I said it. Okay. But, like, two times? Same injury, both best pitchers. Like, because it's crazy. I was like, clearly, when the Braves won it the first time, they were missing their two best players, like best pitcher and best hitter, and they still won it. So I go, like, there's some variability. If they do it again, lose their best hitter and their best pitcher again, and this would be even bigger because Spencer Strider was like a front runner to win a Cy Young. Like Soroka was never that level, but he was still very good. That was young Mike Soroka was like really good. Mm-hmm. But like, man, if they do it this year with losing both those guys and have to take down like a more juggernaut Dodgers team and a Phillies team now all of a sudden, we'll get to them in a bit. Like, I'm saying, maybe some tip and some pitches, I don't know. But yeah, like it sucks for baseball. Sucks. I want to see more people steal bases, and when this stuff like that happens, all the rules to try to get them to steal bases, I feel like we're just gonna, I just feel like we're gonna go backwards again, and it's just sucks. Yeah. Another bummer. Blake Snell's hurt again. So, as of today.
Yeah, what's with the Kelly guys and the new teams? Semi-new. Musgrove, again, back to the IL, same as Snell, just kind of like, we just thought we were okay, but now we're not.
We've touched 3 players so far, and I want to iterate this. All 3 on my fantasy team. So, like, Snell, Montgomery, and Acuna. So, like, it's not going great. Let's just put it that way. And as on the same team that has Corbin Carroll, who's struggling mightily, it's just not been a great, like, I'm not catching a lot of breaks this year. After winning fantasy last year, JT, the gods are like, all right, we gave you 1. Settle down, okay? Like, they're putting me in my place real bad this year. I thought I was buying cheap on Montgomery and Snell. I was like, oh, dude, I'm going to get these guys super cheap. And they can't even stay healthy. My goodness. Like, and then Acuna does, oh my gosh. But yeah, Blake Snell, bummer. Abductor, that's all we know. It happened earlier today recording. We don't have like official time frames or anything yet. More testing, and I'm sure we'll find out this time tomorrow. By the time you guys hear this, you'll know. But we do not know as of right now. Okay, I have one that's like, I don't say it's mean, but it's one I was actively watching. Andrew Benintendi, I don't know are you familiar with what he's chasing right now at this point, JT?
No.
He's chasing IL, left Achilles tendonitis. He's chasing worst OPS for a qualified hitter all time. Whoa. And I mean dead ball era, all time. So he was on pace for it. And so I'm just wondering if he's going to keep doing it. And it's not like the guy's made his money. He signed a deal. It's just like, it's a Rendon thing. It's like, you were good. His highs weren't as high as Rendon, but he was a good player. And then just signs a deal. And it's not just like he fell off a little bit. It's just like, it's that gif where the guy's like carrying the bucket of water and like trips. Like, it's just like forgets how to walk. Like, what happened so quickly with Benintendi? Like, it's one of those I'm not even mad, it's amazing type things. It's like, like I said, because he made his money. Like he could be, all he wants. He made millions and millions of dollars. So, but like, man, like it is just, I keep an eye on it because the last guy to do it long enough was a Seattle Mariner, Ken Griffey Jr., who had thankfully didn't finish the season, didn't qualify, but like in the last like recorded history time, it was Ken Griffey Jr. So at least Benintendi took that from him in the first 2 months. So, but yeah, it was. He has just not been even close to playable. So he did go on the IL. Jordan Romero, closer, 15-day IL. Right elbow inflammation. Zach Gallen, grade 1 hamstring, 15-day IL. These soft tissue ones, again, we talked about before. 15 days, who knows? That is largely dependent on the individual person. So, could be 15 days, could be 2 months. They know better than we do. So I don't know. Edwin Diaz, another one on our Fantrax League on my team. That's just cannot catch a break right now.
Yeah, Lars Nootbaar, he was just starting to get it going, and then back on the IL.
Yep, Lars Nootbaar, he's a fun one.
Did you see the Ranger Suarez one?
I did not.
He's not on the IL, but he instinctively tried to catch barehanded with his pitching hand 106-mile-an-hour line drive. It was right at his body, so he kind of just reacted. And
yeah,
it's just one of those things where he I don't know if you ever seen Ranger Suarez take a ground ball or any type of play. He does it in the most nonchalant Sunday afternoon stroll. I've got nothing else better to do. I might as well just get this out at first base type of laissez-faire. It's just, he doesn't have a heartbeat when he does. And he still did.
From pitcher, at least.
Takes it, and he literally just is like, dang it. Why did I do that? Picks up the ball, throws it to first. Gets the out, ends the inning, and he's just walking off the mound in pain, but frustrated that he did it. But then he's like, it really hurts, but dang it, why did I just instinctively put my hand up? And so it's just because he's on a ridiculous start to the season. Can we still say that? It's June. But,
yeah. We're 60 games in, 62, less than we're a third of the way in the season for some teams.
Yeah.
So we're into it. Yeah. This isn't a hot start. This is a good year so far. Yeah.
And I still, if you give the teams he's faced to other top whatever tier pitchers, I think they're going to be where he is, not to take anything away from him. Yeah. He's doing what he needs to do. But that's just kind of this one of the things X-ray is negative. So all those owners, big sigh of relief. So I thought I just like Ranger Suarez. If you ever get some downtime, just go watch those highlights of him fielding a ball. It's just almost oh yeah, it is a part of my job description. Okay, I'll get you out of first. Here we go.
One last one. Bummer. John Means, UCL surgery, expect to miss the remainder of the season. Unclear if they'll need to go Tommy John, but
God.
A guy who had so much hype and now has just been hurt for 3 straight years, basically. Just 3 consecutive years. Just a bummer, man. Just a bummer. John, he was he was the ace on the team that was still terrible and has never, and just got a bunch of innings and has never got to reap the rewards of a good Orioles offense to back him up. You know what I mean? That guy did the work, the dirty work. And now that they're good, just nothing. Just nothing. He's the guy in the movie who's the best friends with a girl, and the girl's chasing the football player. She comes, and then the transformation, she suddenly becomes hot when she takes her glasses off. The football player's oh, you're hot, but then she realizes that her best friend was the hot one that was wanted her the whole time. That's John Means. Classic. But there's his moment where she realizes he's hot. When's his moment? Come on, John Means. There's probably 40 movies that do that. I just can't even name one of them. I can't even name one of them. I was gonna say this movie, but I don't have any of those movies.
I know exactly what you're talking about though.
Something with now I can't remember the actress's name. Dang it, she was in Les Mis. I don't know her name. Anne Hathaway. Some Anne Hathaway movie. There you go. Yeah, I'm sure there's people screaming at me, but yeah, there's tons of movies. So yeah, but I feel bad for John Means. He dealt with the crap. It's if Felix Hernandez, all of his years, never going to the playoffs. He's hurt for 2 years, and he has to watch as the Mariners we're going to playoffs, and I'm I'd be he deserves to be there. He dealt with your crap. He deserves to have some fun. But yeah, get better, John Means.
I just realized that in the same thought of Acuna like tearing the other ACL, Von Grissom was out for the start of the year with the left hamstring strain, and now he suffered the right hamstring strain. I thought it was the same one, but I just noticed that it was the opposite one now.
That's what I'm saying. When you those soft tissues or something like that, when you're rehabbing, you tend to subconsciously favor the other one. Job of PT to help you not do that, but you're going to do it regardless. Like kind of, subconsciously, you're going to do it regardless. And it's super shocking that you do it to the other one because you're just like, I don't want to push it too much on this one, and then you put too much strain on the other one. So yeah, it sucks.
That's a bummer. It's if only we knew a really good PT to recommend to these guys. I mean, that'd be. Got anybody?
She never works. She's got 2 kids at home. She never works. So, she's always like, "Oh, I gotta take this kid to an appointment. See you, patients." And just I know she's going back to work for the first time tomorrow, and then she's like, "Oh, I only got to work 3 days this week." I'm like, "You never even work."
Must be nice.
I know, seriously. All right. So speaking of must be nice, dad strength. For those dingers, there's a lot of Aaron Judge on here. I'm surprised this list isn't all 10 Aaron Judge home runs because he just hit so many. But Bobby Witt Jr., little guy, relatively speaking, 468. Take that by 1 foot, Aaron Judge. What's up?
Yeah, in Detroit.
Yeah, not an easy place to hit home run. We will ignore that Aaron Judge also hits in Minnesota, San Francisco, also horrible places to hit home runs. But whatever.
Whoa, Bobby Witt, 6'1". I didn't realize he was 6'1". That's a solid frame.
He's just a child, it's just, what is he like?
He's got that Peter Pan. No, not Peter Pan. He's got that Pirates of the Caribbean. He's super young. He's not Jack Sparrow. We're referencing all these movies that we don't know how to describe. He's an Orlando Bloom mustache goatee going on, where I'm like, I don't think you're old enough to grow one, but it looks sharp, so I will allow it.
Yeah, 23. He's gonna be the guy he's gonna always look young. He's just got that face. He's gonna look young for a long time. So he hit 520 his senior year of high school. Jesus. Okay. All right. That's just you need to stop it. Average 2 RBI, over 2 RBIs a game. Okay, that's just not cool.
Wow.
Yeah. Almost hit a home run stolen base a game too. So that's just, I guess if you do that, yeah. Okay, yeah. Bobby Witt, good at baseball, hits long dingers.
Jackson Churio, 12th with 441 foot bomb. That's baby strength right there. He's not 20, right? Is he still 19?
Is he still officially 19? I knew he was 19 when he got, I don't know his birthday.
Yeah, when he got the call.
Yeah.
Drum roll.
And
loading.
Technically tied for the left.
Oh, he just had a birthday in March.
I was going to say, one of those were like his age 19, but figure 20. Okay, he still can't drink. Okay, technically tied for 10th because of all the same distance. But Christian Yelich in here. Good to see Christian Yelich coming back a little bit. So like that. Mark Venutos, we've talked about him. Just been playing pretty good baseball. So rostered him in a couple leagues thanks to our talk last couple weeks ago. So thanks on that one. Tovar hitting a home run. 433. So
yeah. Brian Reynolds, I haven't seen his name pop up too much. I see you, Brian.
He's been having, as I talked to a Pirates fan of my coworker, shout out Ben. He's like, it's a good year. You wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, he's killing us. But it's not like, it's not a Brian Reynolds year you think about. So like that's kind of what it feels like. Everyone's like, he's disappointing. I'm like, he's having a fine year for a baseball player. It's just like, you just pay him, and now you're like, we need to have a Brian Reynolds year, and you're like, oh, not quite that. So I feel like he's getting a little hate more. I'm like, hey, so good. Joe Adele, 435. Also just hit a granny the other day against the Mariners, so that was fun. Spencer Torkelson, 48. Sorry, got sent down today. Sorry, just saw his name. And I saw that. I just seen that. So, look at the. Oh man, there's a Bobby Witt Jr. sandwich between some Aaron Judges. Oh, they're all 433. They're all the same. They're all the same. We'll put Bobby Witt above them. We'll just say like Bobby Witt did that. A lot of different names on here. I'm liking that. I'm liking that.
Yeah, it's warming up. End of May, most of these since we last potted. So there's the last 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just about only baseball on TV. Almost.
That's true. Almost. Let's get to the fun one though. Some exit velo. We saw our first 121. O'Neill Cruz Jr. hit a double, 121.5 miles per hour. What do you say? He's got 3 of the top 4, and 2 of them were in the same game against San Francisco. Or all 3 of them were. He did all 3 of them in the same game. Wow. 2 120 plus and a 116. What do you hit the baseball 121 miles an hour, JT? I don't know what to say. He's crushing Mike Stanton, or John Carlos Stanton. It blew my mind so much. I went back like 8 years and called him Mike Stanton. He broke me so hard. I called him Mike Stanton. Yeah, wow.
2 off Logan Webb and 1 off Camilo Duvall. I've heard those both are pretty solid pitchers.
Yeah.
And all the pitch locations. Okay, wait. Is he? He's usually batting lefty, right? He's not a switch hitter.
I don't think he's a lefty.
They pitched him low and in, and because I think the zone is showing from the catcher's point of view, which makes sense. So low and in, turn on all of them. Yeah, first inning, third inning, ninth inning. The best one was obviously against Duvall in the ninth, but holy cow!
Gosh, O'Neill Cruz, and we talk low and in. He's like 6'7". Like it is low,
and
he goes down and gets it.
Oh, and each one came off a different pitch type. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
especially because the top 121, it was technically on the fringe just outside the zone, and it's a 100-mile-per-hour pitch just on the shadow of the bottom corner of the zone.
It just goes down and gets it. Like it's 100 miles an hour. Yeah, it's off the plate, and it's one of those where it's like, look, it's low down off the plate, and he goes and gets it 100 miles an hour. Just like, what do you do? I was explaining it to somebody in a chat. They did that with the Mariners. Someone got a hit. Who was it? I can't remember what it was. Someone for the Mariners made a really good pitch. It was like almost like 100 or something like that. It was like 99 or something real fast. And it was low and out of the zone, and it was like 99, 100. And I was like, what are you going to do? He chase out of the zone at 100. It's kind of what you want. He hits it, okay, tip your cap. Like you hit a ball out of the zone 100 miles an hour. I don't know what you want me to do. So, yeah. And that's the scary part about O'Neill Cruz. He's so big. He gets his levers around. If he's on, man, he covers that zone. Like, he's the scariest. He's like, I feel like a guy, if he gets hot, it's just like, watch out. Watch out. Like, O'Neill Cruz. A bunch of Aaron Judges up here.
I was just counting that. I was like, how many times is Judge like he must have heard something like, hey, Cruz just hit 3 hits over, and he's just like, I'm on it, because he's got to scroll up here a ways. There we go. So he's got the 6th and 7th fastest, 115.8, 0.7, and this is just over the last 2.5 weeks. But he's had 114. So one was against San Diego, San Francisco. That last one was the White Sox. Another one, San Diego, 113. Minnesota, 113. San Francisco, 112. Minnesota, 111.
You have a bunch of Juan Sotos, a bunch of Stantons. There's a lot of Yankees on this list. Like, there's a lot of Yankees on this list.
Okay, it's only 2.5 weeks, and there's at least 5 opponents. I think he hit a ball 110 plus miles an hour in each series over the last 2.5 weeks.
Just spread it out a little bit, just like peppering them.
He has this one against Seattle, 110.9. That's just ridiculous. Like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna get 12 plate appearances.
About him, and he off to a slow start. It's kind of what I said about Julio Rodriguez a couple weeks ago, where he's just not going to make it up unless he goes crazy. Aaron Judge was playing very bad too. Was hitting like 170, but just like his OPS was real low in the low 600s, and he, unlike Julio, made up for it in a hurry. Like, he was just like, I'm going to make up for it and have the highest WRC plus in all within 3 weeks. And with a vengeance, he did it. It makes the Yankee fans look really stupid who were talking about he's washed after he signed his deal. He is angry and he is mashing. So look out. Just what he did to the Giants this weekend. Look out. Yeah. That's all I got to say. Aaron Judge is angry.
So, pop quiz for you.
Okay.
Vladito has, 4 hits here within the last 2.5 weeks.
None of them are under 10 miles, 10 degrees.
Right. All of them are 112 plus miles an hour. Yeah. How many over, what of the 4, how many are over 5 degrees?
1.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, there we go.
1 degree, 2 degree, 3 degree, and then 13. That's I don't get it.
I mean, we're not saying anything revolutionary. I guarantee that the Blue Jays know, and he knows. It's just what it's going to be. If you're just not going to elevate it, if you elevated it, you are Aaron Judge. You're just not. It's just what it is. It's just,
right.
I guess if you try to elevate it, it's going to probably throw off who you are and how you got here. So I don't know.
Like, I get it. You hit it hard, good stuff happens, but it's just like
stuff happens. Yeah.
It's just that Diaz conundrum where you're just like, you see him hit the ball so hard, and you're just like, man, if you could just.
There's more space in the outfield and less defenders. It is a very simple concept.
Mm-hmm.
So you hit the ball super hard, the odds it falls is greater than the outfield. like clear the infielders, and good things happen. Yeah,
how much square footage are we talking? It's probably like 3 times as larger, and
it's kind of
defenders. It's just,
I mean, it's kind of a dad pod dream to mow a lawn like that, a major league outfield. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a requirement to be a grounds crew chief. The head of it, you have to be a dad because there's nothing like dad staring at a lawn. Like, it's just what it is. I mean, I'm sure women could do it too, but it's just like nothing like a dad staring at a lawn. Like, yeah, I did that. That's just a thing. Just can't explain it.
So, funny story, tangent, but related to this topic. And so shout out to my assistant coach, Nate. He saw that we were playing at Jefferson Field 1 over on G-Way.
Oh.
We just played there, and the infield was long, and he was like, man, I better go mow that thing because we got to, it was a little too long. And
okay.
we've heard the city mows the outfield, but it's kind of touch and go on whether they mow the infield or not. And so he showed up yesterday to mow it, and they had mowed the infield. And he was like, okay, well, I'm already here. Let's put a nice little cross pattern on it. So shout out. Yeah. He was like, well, might as well do this upright. So just had that dad in him.
There you go. There you go. Respect.
We'll have a 3-day freshly cut infield for our first playoff game, so it should be good.
Well, speaking of freshly cut and hot off the press, JT, you got a new stat for us here.
Yeah, because we were talking about our plate discipline, and we know it's awesome and amazing, and it's very tangible. It's very direct, and it correlates to strikeouts and walks, and that makes a whole lot of sense. And we always talked about what if we just added in the part like we count contact as just good, but not all contact is good contact. And so I think I've dabbled with that in the past, but just recently I was like, what about when they make the decision to swing? A batter makes the decision to swing. What do we calculate there? Because with contact, it's like they made the good decision to make contact, and we calculated that. So I wanted to back it up one step and say, when they decided to swing, what happened? So I pulled from Savant slugging percentage on all swings, and I did for 21, 22, and 23. So I got 3 years of stats in here for the qualified hitters. And so I added this to our plate discipline metric, and it's got like it's like a 1 to roughly 4 or 5 ratio. Because I'm trying to relate it to WOBA. It's kind of like the king of all stats, right? So for hitters, so well, heck, even probably everything, because even expected ERA on Savant is retrofitted from WOBA allowed for pitchers. So anyway, so got plate discipline and the slugging when swinging, and I pulled the WOBA for all these hitters. And I've got the sweet graph, and I've shared it with Sean, and I'm getting a correlation of 94% and an R squared of 88.5.
I mean, I'm looking at the names in order. I think it's a good stat because every name on here, I'm like, that guy, if he made an all-star team and was a starter, I'd be like, absolutely, it makes sense. I mean, we're Aaron Judge, Mike Trout, Yordan Alvarez, Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Ronald Acuna, in order. I will say we get to like, I get down to top 30. 30, Brian Reynolds, JD Martinez, Manny Machado, up to 28. There are 2 names in here. Only 2 names where I'm like, what? 27, Brandon Drury. And number 15, Brandon Belt snuck in here between Bryce Harper and Corey Seager. And then again, Jose Ramirez, Austin Riley, Pete Alonso, like studs. But those 2 snuck in. So I'm looking at this list. I'm like, this is 31, Julio Rodriguez, Ketel Marte, Will Smith, Seiya Suzuki. Like, it is who's who in the top of this list. So I'm like, you don't want to confirm your own bias too much from like, those are the good players. Those are the guys who are going to win MVPs, and they're very high in this list. So I think there's something here. I think I'm pretty safe to say it's confirming what we see on the field. These guys do damage, and Kyle Tucker, 12, kind of a poster child of this pod a little bit recently. Yeah, it's man. Yeah, no, this stat, JT, I saw the names in order. I went, I think you're onto something here, and paid.
Right.
Paid. These guys get paid. Like, Kyle Tucker's gonna be next, gonna get paid. Like, yeah.
It's just I kind of threw it together today because before I was doing on WOBA on swings, and then I was like, this is too direct. And if I'm trying to correlate to WOBA, I shouldn't use a WOBA on whatever. If I'm splicing it, it was just too. I was like, it just seems too easy. So I was trying to
cut your WOBA in half, and you're like, and then putting it back together in a different way, basically. Like, you're going to get kind of the same thing. Yeah,
exactly. So I had a different thought today, and I threw it together, and then I had to just get all the names in alphabetical order, which is a pain in the butt when you're trying to retrofit like Fangraphs and Savant. And I know there's a way, and I know I could look up player IDs. I'm just not that savvy with it. And there's only like, I don't know, a couple hundred names, and they're mostly alphabetical order. So anyway, it gets me thinking about, like the whole old adage of like pitcher versus thrower. And it's almost got me thinking about like batter versus hitter. And like, just like, we've talked about before, and Batflip Crazy was the first one I can remember. And I've talked to him years and years ago about like what comprises, a good batter. They're going to hit the ball well. They're going to hit for power. They're going to have good plate discipline. They're going to barrel the ball a lot. They're going to have that really good launch angle percentage, all these different factors. But it's just like, how do you mash that all together in like one stat and just be like, these dudes, collectively in different areas add up to the best batter in the league. So it's just kind of like what we talked about in earlier podcasts, the Alex Bregman 2024, this current year he is having, is he's seen the ball super well. He has great plate discipline. When he swings at it, he might as well be holding a pool noodle. And it's just like, well, that's wonderful. He's not in the aspect, he's not a great hitter, but he's got a good eye to play. I would still say he's a good batter, but it's just like he's not doing damage. So it's just like, how do you quantify that? Like even in WOBA, and I said it's probably like one of the king of all baseball stats, but it still can be misleading. I like to see the parts of the whole WOBA. I like to see what goes into their WOBA. Are they super heavy in the walks? They're getting on base a ton? Because WOBA is kind of like walks plus slugging, if I kind of try to make it really rudimentary, like in that kind of statement.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, is WOBA supported by hitting and doing damage, or is it more supported by just getting walks, getting on base? I mean, it's fine either way. It's just what are you getting yourself into? What's the makeup of this batter that you're, investing in terms of fantasy baseball? It's nothing is the end all be all, because ultimately when it comes down to it, we're all chasing counting stats, but you can't really,
there's always the variable of luck and counting stats. You're never going to account for that. You're just never going to. Luck and injuries, and you could argue luck is part of the equation of injuries, but you're never going to account for all that stuff. You just can't. And trying to is just, you just can tear your hair out. It's just not going to happen.
So this is kind of fun. I might try to dice it and splice it a couple different ways, but it's pretty cool. I was going to go down to the bottom and
question. You clearly cheated because separated by 0.001, and I'm sure based on looking on all four of the categories, I'm talking 0.001 in the ratio, 0.001 in slug, 0.001 in WPDI. The Contreras brothers, they're next to each other, like literally next to each other, 73, 74. The only one that is separated by more is WOBA, and it's 0.002. Is what at all five of these categories, they're basically separated by 0.001 in everything.
Whoa!
And I was like, of course they're next to each other. There they are.
That's trippy.
That's I'm like looking. I'm like, I thought you screwed up and just wrote William Contreras twice. I was like, nope, that is Wilson. I was like, they're probably some of the two of the closest players I've seen this entire list. Like, because people close to each other, often the equation is at the end is the same, but how they get there is different. They got there the exact same way in every single way, JT. Every single way they got there the same way. Like to the T. Like 88, 89, Randy Rosarina and Austin Hayes, they're pretty similar. Actually, They're very similar. But they're still, I mean, what that throws them off is WOBA, 10 points off. Like right there, boom. It's a little bit, but everything else is like 1 or 2 points. But the Contreras brothers might be the closest, and of course, they're the two brothers. This list is official, JT. You've discovered something here, just based off the Contreras brothers.
There we go. Have we seen them in the same place?
I'm sure Mom has.
Okay.
Sure, their mom has, but no, I have not. So yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy. I was looking, I was like, wait a second. And I kept going by my thought process was like, man, I went over to the left, I'm like, wow, they're really close. And I went over to the right, I was like, wait, they're really close. Well, they're really close. Well, they're really close. They're really close. I'm like, that's all the categories. I'm like, they're identical in all five of these categories. And yeah, so that's why I thought, I was like, did you screw this up? I was like, no, they're slightly different. Man, that's crazy. That is crazy.
So what I can do with this, I can share the link on our tweet when we tweet out this episode to listen to, so you can kind of check it out as well, and then we can go from there. But yeah, it'll be on at Fantasy Dad Pods on the Twitter X. But yeah, I got to call him for WOBA because I was trying to correlate to that. But I was also like, you know what? If I got this new, I called it paid because I was like plate, average, indexed. I forget what D meant.
Dad.
But yeah, and then so I got the WPDI or plate discipline stat, and then I got this slugging when it's on swings.
Yeah.
And then it I don't know what kind of ratio I was trying to go after because I was trying to like, are they? I'll mess around that before I post it, but I was trying to like visualize: are they more relying on their plate discipline to get paid, or are they more relying on their slugging ability to get paid? How about that?
No, that makes sense. Yeah, like where is it? Because like I just said the equation with the Contreras brothers. Usually it's like a Luis Ariz or a Stanton. Contact, power. You might get there in the same end. Like they're talking about how like a complete baseball hurt. You can get to first in a couple different ways. How you do it. Your ratio is leaning how you're going to. Which kind of is one stop shot to like which way are you getting to first base.
Right.
And so yeah, Aaron Judge is good at baseball. Yeah. And see, he's one that his WPDI isn't super amazing because there's a lot of like, Jose Ramirez, Marcus Semien. You get Bregman, super good. But I mean, Aaron Judge isn't bad, but just when Judge swings, that 650 slug when he swings, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Turns out. 650 slug. Man, that is a big gap too. That is
it. Yeah, when you look at the graph, and his dot is obviously the Judge's dot is the tippy top right.
Yep.
Like his WOBA is a good amount higher, but his slug when swinging it's a whole nother shade of green. Like he's in its own little tier there.
Yeah, he's on a heater, that's for sure. He has been for the last couple of years, so that's crazy. I don't have any super big ads, JT. Do you have any ads?
I think maybe a few here and there. The first one I gravitate towards is so Edwin Diaz on the IL and then Romano on the IL. So if you need saves, for Romano, Yimi Garcia comes to mind. Edwin Diaz, I feel like they're either going to go with, I don't know, maybe just the matchups, lefty righty. So it'd be either Garrett or Ottavino.
Yeah. I don't think they have a dude that they're going to just plug and play there. I think it's going to be, like you said, a matchup thing. Yeah.
I mean, Garrett has had quite the ratios of a season.
Yeah.
I'd definitely chase Yimi more than the others. That's the first that comes to mind. Let me pull up some more. Do you have any?
It's more of like, I mean, I could trust them all they want, but it's just like I don't think the Mets are going to trust them to do it. It's one of those. Pitchers. Let's see if I got any. I don't like it's guys that we kind of we touched on the like Cole Irvins, like hey, you need a couple, here and there. So I feel like those guys just haven't been picked up yet. Let me see here.
Oh yeah, the new guy for the Cubs, Ben Brown.
Yeah. I guess he's a lower percentage too. Yeah.
Sorry, not new on the season, but more of new to the starting role, right?
Yeah. So, 23% increase here. Highest riser, only 25% roster right now. Brian Wu, still sub 50 guys. His ERA is 1.3. WHIP of 0.5. He got pulled at 66 pitches in like the sixth inning just because they're like, hey, we're being careful with you, but like obviously I don't think he's gonna have a 0.5 WHIP the whole season, but the dude had like a top 3 best fastball in baseball last year and was still good. So please pick him up. Like it needs to be in the 80s. Like you're not gonna regret it. But he does have a little injury history, but he's already got hurt once. But if he's healthy, I mean, dark horse. Like I don't think this year, but like the dude's really good at baseball. I've never seen a pitch. So it needs to be 80%. All the Mariners starters, all 5 of them need to be 80% or above. I think we could be done talking about Mariners starters. Do you agree, JT? 80% above roster all Mariners starters.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's fun as a Mariners fan to see how good of a rotation that is. When their home ballpark is that of Seattle, it's even more sweeter.
Yeah,
as a fantasy owner.
Yeah, I have a lot of Miller stock this year. It's just all of them. Zach Littell, I like him. I'm surprised only 21%. Needs to be higher. Just a consistent arm, and the Rays are smart. So I like what he does. He was hit today a little bit, but brought his ERA up to 3.4. So he's been pretty nice. So strikes out usually 5, 6 a game. So yeah, I like Littell. He should probably be closer, like kind of the Woo 40. He's 48-50, but him at 21% roster right now, I feel is incredibly low. So I like him. I got the hiccups, of course. Trying to look at guys who are lower. Man,
Ryan Weathers in Miami's been pitching pretty well. 19% rostered. I mean, he's just getting quality starts. I mean, that's huge.
Recently, it's like, okay, here we go. Because he's been like awesome recently. So I think maybe at the beginning you're like, who is this guy? And now it's like he kicked in another gear. So it's like, okay. So, I mean, he did go at 4 against Texas in 6 innings, but I mean, that's respectable, but struck out 11. Like, oh my gosh, like that'll help. Like you give up 4, that's fine. I'm like, man, rough start. Then I'm like, oh, you struck out 11, walk 0. My ratio's like that. Like, thank you. Like, because the earned runs, they're not going to bury it. I mean, it's 6 and it's a 1.5 whip, but I'm like, man, you strike out 11 and give me 0 walks. There we go. Like, if you have K per 9 or K to walk ratio, you're loving it. So, awesome. Yeah. So even in his worst start, he's still bailing you out.
Milwaukee's rookie pitcher, I think he just got called up a couple starts ago, Robert Gasser. So you think of like just
perfect name.
Flame.
Well, he doesn't throw.
No.
Yeah.
No. He's not a strikeout guy, but he's not going to give up any walks. Yeah. He's going to make you make super weak contact. And his couples, I mean, he's been looking solid. So like in a 15-team league, if you just got dinged like I did by like the whole Gallen and Musgrove situation, and I got all my ILs are starters, and so I was just like, I think I put in a bid for Gasser. I don't know if I got him, but at least in ESPN he's only 16% rostered. So I would stream if at all.
Yeah, Gasser is nice. Mackenzie Gore, I see you roster him. 24%. It's criminally underrated. Went to Hot Atlanta through 5 1/3 innings of 10 strikeouts. Sign me up. It needs to, again, not advocating for the world, but like 24%. Like, come on, as a sub 3 ERA this year. Let's give the man some love. I had one other guy again. These guys are rostered in all my league. I'm like, look at guys I should pick up, but because I'm losing Blake Snell. So I'm like, hey, guys, you need to look at Tyler Anderson. Not going to be like sexy with the strikeouts. He's basically super consistent with the 4, but again, he has a 2.4 ERA this year. Like, he's just plugging away, man. It's like it's 6 1/3, 1 earned run, 6 1/3, 7-2, like 2 earned runs. Like it's just like boom, and it's 4 strikeouts. Mm-hmm. 1 whip. 110. Like it's just like, and I'm like, that's a quality innings. You're gonna rely on your high picks to get you the strikeouts and get you the other stuff. But Tyler Anderson is gonna give you those floors, those safe floors, give you that ERA. Like those guys are criminally underrated, and it's just I don't know. I love seeing Wood Richardson. His numbers look great. It's just they're not letting him go super deep. It's kind of like a Woo thing. Like he's a 2.7 ERA. 1 whip, and I'm just like, but he's going like 4 2/3, 5 innings, like that type of stuff. And I'm like, they're just not letting him go any further. And as someone who rosters him 11, he's only 6% roster. I'm just like, I think it might be time to drop. Just not because it's good, but like it's 4 1/3 innings at that. Like, I just feel like I need you to go a little further to make a roster spot worthwhile. Because I could just roster Tyler Anderson. You know what I mean? Like, he might not strike many, but I could just roster Tyler Anderson instead. So if suddenly let him go further, you need to be on it. Because I love the talent. They're being safe, I get it, but I love the talent. But I just, 4 1/3 is just not going to cut it. Keep cutting it.
Yeah, I get. I don't know. I'm trying to find it to prove it real quick. But in the back of my head, it was a don't face the lineup the third time vibe for Woods Richardson.
Yeah.
Whereas Woo was just like, hey, you pitch 66 pitches, which is great. You got to the 6th. That's more than we needed. We don't need to push any further. Come on out. Good job.
The Mayor Scott Service did say, he's like, it is simply we're managing pitches with him and innings. It is nothing more. He could have kept going if we needed him to, but we didn't need him to.
Right.
So they're like, we're not gonna. He's too valuable, and I agreed with him. And so I'm like, like don't hurt him if you don't need to. So that's the Woo thing. Yeah. He could have kept going easily, and he wanted to go, and they're like, no, like we're fine.
So I just saw this. This might be the most egregious one. I mean, he just got back. He's pitched 12 innings. It's Taylor McGill. A pitcher list calls him Taylord McGill.
Okay.
He's kind of proved it in his 2 starts since coming off the IL. He's only 4% rostered on ESPN.
The Mets guy, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Looks like he's got a 2-start week potentially coming up. So that'd be pretty.
4% rostered. Let me see if I can.
Cool.
See if I can take it.
So he's got a.
He's 4% rostered after a 3% increase. What?
Yes, he's coming up on a 2-start week. He's facing the Nationals tomorrow, which will be Monday, the 3rd of June. He just got done with the Dodgers. Tell me if this is any good. 7 innings, 3 hits, a walk, and 9 Ks. No earned. Is that decent against the Dodgers?
That'll play. That's pretty good. He's all the other 3 starts. I'm looking at it. Milwaukee's been good this year, and they've been hitting, and Cleveland's been hitting. Like all these teams are like above 600 winning percentage, and the Dodgers, and he's just rolling out a 1.7 ERA, like right now. Okay, he went through the gauntlet to start. So okay, I see you. You got any hitters? Let's end positive today. No drops today. I did know I threw out one, but let's do add hitters. Let's do add hitters here. I like Matt Vierling. I think you talked about him a couple weeks ago. I have roster him in 1 league. Detroit outfield third baseman, at least in ESPN. Only 19% rostered. I don't know about you, but I've had a rash of outfielder injuries.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm desperate for outfielders at this point, honestly, which is like, usually it's the opposite, but I'm just like, here we go. And then the dude of all dudes, Dad Fry, who plays like 19 positions, including catcher, since the day he's been called up, is ahead of Aaron Judge in WRC+. And he has over 100 at-bats now. The next Aaron Judge is what I'm saying? Question mark?
If Dad Fry qualified, I think he had the 2nd best swinging slugging percentage. Next to Judge. I don't even know who this guy is.
I listened to podcasts, and he's been referenced a couple times, and every time it's been like 25 minutes. That was 50, and then I was listening to Interaction like, we're past 100. It's just, and it's still 100 isn't like the end all be all, but it's just like, at what point, do we like, hey?
They're implying small sample, and then all of a sudden the sample is becoming pretty respectable.
We're getting triple digits now. We're like, okay, and it's not like, I mean, let me double check here. It's not like he's struggling because he didn't play today, got an off day, but the day he has it only goes back 5 days, has a hit in every day, 2 home runs in this day, and a stolen base, has 4 runs, 7 RBIs in 4 games. So it's not like he's cooling off anytime soon. So his slug the last 7 days, JT, is 670.
He has a 17% walk rate on top of all this. I'm more impressed by that, coinciding with all of this.
I mean,
hitting.
Everyone's like, "Oh man, he's going to slow down." He's getting hotter as the plate appearances come in. Like,
question mark? Yeah.
Yeah, like how is you're like, man, he can't keep this up. And then he's like, I'll show you, and it just gets better. And then go David Fry, I guess. Like, let's do it. Number 2 hitting catcher and overall value already. It says 2 things. He's been hot, and catchers they're catchers, but he has 8 home runs and 4 stolen bases already. As a catcher already in 100 bats, and a 500 on base percentage. So he's 24 walks. He's 20. One more time, JT. Alex Verdugo has played a full season, has 20.
Wow.
David Fry has played 100 at bats and has 24 walks. The dude's giving you. If you give him a walk, he's gonna take it. Like, that is ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
That's fun, especially for the catcher position.
He has 100 bats and is the top 50 in the league in walks. He's the same amount of walks as Matt Olson and Yordan Alvarez. We'll just leave it at that.
And 3 steals to just chip in.
He steals bases too.
Or
yeah.
less 30.
He has
Wow.
Yeah. He has 2 less than Fernando Tatis Jr. He has let's see here, 130 at bats less. I am rooting for him because it's fun. I want to keep going. What if Cleveland just finds like a superstar? Because that'd be like amazing. Because you always hear like the Judge and the Trouts and everything. I just want to like an unknown superstar. Like, let's do it. Obviously we're 100 bats in. Let's just chill out. But still, it's super fun.
Yep.
Let me see here. Who else?
Oh, if you need steals, just roster a national. Everyone runs on that team.
Yeah.
We talked about Winker hitting really well. All of a sudden, he had like 5 stolen bases in the last 2-3 weeks or something like that.
So I'll say this: Cal Raleigh might be I saw a stat where he is like one of the hardest people to steal on in baseball. Yordan Alvarez stole 3 times in a Mariners series recently. He has 3 stolen bases now. What? That man needs a crutch to get a wheelchair to get to first base, and he stole 3 bases in a series against the best throwing catcher. It's baseball, man. Sometimes I'd explain it to somebody in the chat today. I was like, it's just baseball.
Yeah.
It's just, you can't explain it. The thing that you think makes sense doesn't make sense. Jesse Winker, like you just said, he just keeps hitting. Like, I expected any day to drop off now, but he is now 6 home runs, 10 stolen bases, 27 walks. Always been good. 350 on base. And now it qualifies for outfield. I'm just saying, maybe 11% rostered maybe it's a little low for some Jesse Winker. Getting everyday playing time now because they're rolling it out there. Like, wasn't getting that at the beginning, and now they're just like, you're just gonna keep playing. So the Nationals are like relevant in fantasy. like who would have thought? Like, here we go. Did they win the Juan Soto trade?
I saw something about that. Was that on a podcast you listened to? I was like, I swear maybe it's just before Soto got traded to the Yankees, but
we've referenced
interesting question.
I'm just saying, like, maybe. Is there anybody else that you're super into picking up, JT? Hit bats wise?
Well, I had Vaughn Grissom in some obscure 15-team league, and with him with the IL, I was just like, okay, I need to replace this. So Hamilton, his actual replacement, stealing some bases, hitting the ball decently. I was like, well, maybe short-term fix there. Also tried to go put some fab dollars on Nick Gonzalez with Pittsburgh. Usually multi-position eligible up the middle, and he's been hitting the ball well and and contributing in most, categories. And
I'm just looking at Nick Gonzalez. He's really high up here. Yeah.
yeah. So that's just another name. I mean, like sometimes it's really tough to find worthwhile middle infielders.
Why does he only have so few at bats? Yeah, he must not start getting a run scored until like really like or unless he was like just awful. I feel like he must not have.
Yeah, he didn't come in until the end of April.
He's only got 73 at bats, in his last 15, it shows like he's played every day, so he's got a ton of the bats in the last 15. I'm like, he could not have just like played the full season. So yeah, he's been very good since here, and again has second base eligibility, is rostered in only 12% of leagues. Needs to be higher than that because you play second base, you get a roster spot, and you get a roster spot. Let's see, I think here. For my own thing, I think Mason Wynn is like right there. I'm just saying, I think he's like right there. Watched a couple of games of him play. I'm like, he's just like, he's not killing you, but he's not like tearing the car off the ball. But I see it, like I see it, so it's coming. So he's, what is he rostered in 10% of leagues? He's a watch list. I roster him. I'm not going to drop him because I think I see it coming. But like, watch list him if in your league he's not rostered. Because he does things. He's been hot a couple times. I'm like, man, he just puts it together continuously. He's still, man, isn't he like 20 or 21 or something like that?
Yeah, he's obviously he's a rookie, but yeah, he's super young. 21.
Yeah. He just turned 22. So yeah, he's young, but this is like, yeah, he's got like very few at bats. So he's figuring this thing out. He will figure, and it looks like he's going to. So I say
his nickname is, there's two nicknames on Baseball Reference. Blaze, which is solid because that's his middle name.
So yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Or Energizer Bunny. I like that so much.
Isn't it long for a nickname though? It feels like there's it's got to be like a nickname. It's got important to the point. Like a full sentence seems like it's too much,
Well, when you verbalize it, it's long. But when you just see the image, the logo, you're like, boom, I get it.
Yeah. Okay, I get it. Yeah. We've had a hard time in this house recently with nicknames. I don't want to talk about it. It's been a hard time between me and my wife and not getting nicknames. So.
That was so good. I like that text.
It was thinking, I can't even remember now. I tried to repress it. Thinking, Michael Jordan's nickname, was it Mikey J? Michael J?
Mikey J?
And I was like, no, he's MJ. Like, that is his nickname. MJ. Everyone knows him as MJ. She's like, no, that's the person from Spider-Man. And I was like, I don't even know what to do with you right now.
Like, she called him Michael J.
Michael
That's
J.
his nickname.
It's like, who calls Michael Jordan Michael J? It's either Michael Jordan or MJ. Like,
and then you're like, yeah, MJ.
Or if you're Reggie Miller, it's Black Jesus. One or the other, which that's a funny story. But what? Man, it was rough in our household yesterday, JT. I texted you and our buddy Rob. It was rough.
Yep.
I can't do it anymore.
I can't right now. Just give me some space.
Mike J. Too much. All right, I think that's it.
Yep. I like it.
Dad Bod Player of the Week is Mikey J, also known as Michael Jordan. No. Oh shoot! I just closed my.
It's got to be David Fry. He doesn't have a dad bod though, but he's just the most generic, like.
It's a creative player in baseball.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah, there he is, and he's like, "I'm gonna rake."
If he walked by you on the street in just plain clothes, you'd have no idea.
No chance. I had no chance. The man has a 200, almost 220 WRC plus, like prime bonds, better than prime bonds. And he's like, I'm just, I'm a dude. He definitely lives in an apartment with two roommates. Like that guy definitely lives in an apartment with two roommates.
He's 28. He's originally from Texas, but you know what? If you just shaved his beard right now, I could have swore I saw him a couple weeks ago at Subway.
He was making sandwiches. Now he's dishing out sandwiches into the stand. Yeah. There we go.
Oh man.
There you go,
Well
Frank.
done. Yeah, I like the out of nowhere. Yeah, even the name and it makes sense. It's so
He's like,
generic.
it's like that movie, The Rookie. You know, who's the actual pitcher? I get him confused with George Sherrill, the old Mariners relief pitcher, because they look similar. They look similar. They're both bald and had like facial hair. I just can't remember. They're both like lefties too. Remember the game against the Rangers where he came.
Jim Morris? So
That's
his
it.
name?
Yeah, Fry sounds like a high school PE teacher. Like that name. You're just like, oh yeah, Mr. Fry, my PE teacher. And the dude throws gas. Like that's what it's gonna be, you know. Like the dude's just like, I hit home runs better than Aaron Judge. Like that's what I do. And they're like, you should try out for the Cleveland Guardians. He's like, oh, okay. And then yeah, next movie. Then he becomes a Hall of Famer. No big deal. The Mr. Utility Award is now the Mr. Fry or whatever it is, like award. Yeah, I've seen it now. Call me for rights of this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll write it. We'll do it. We'll do it up for you.
Dennis Quaid will play the father in this one.
There we go. And his son, Jack Quaid. I can't remember his real name. He's in The Boys, which is a good show. But yeah, he plays Mr. Fry. We'll play like some executive who says he can't do it. We'll like, you can't be good. We'll be like the bad guy.
The guy who plays David Fry kind of looks like Clint Eastwood's son.
Scott Eastwood.
Kind of. We could put a Scott Eastwood in there, and people would be like, "Okay, solid." Like, I get it.
But
he's got a decent Midwest. Yeah, from Texas, went to Northwestern. Yeah.
I mean, aren't they gonna think we're trying to like do just too much sex appeal if we put him in though? Because I know the ladies like some Scott Eastwood. Just saying.
We're trying to sell movie tickets, Sean. Like, come on now.
He's a good-looking dude too, you know.
He'll play himself, and then they won't even know he's the real. They're like, man, this actor is a really good baseball player. I wonder how much. Like, what is Major League when Kane did? Like the whole story, he did PEDs so he could touch 85 in the movie to make it look realistic.
Yeah.
But back then, 85 was actually super legit because most.
It was like 90. He throws 95. Yeah.
But back then, like 90 was super respectable. Yeah. And he, as an actor, was throwing like touching 85, sitting 80, 82. And it's like, people are like, whoa, like that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Now they're like, okay, old man softball league. Like, right. He was a 7th round pick. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
David Fry. There we go. We made a good call. David Fry.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us. We appreciate you listening. Take care, be well, and until next time, see ya.
See ya.